What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. We've got a few bits and pieces to talk about in the last 24 hours of Tottenham news, and we brought you the update yesterday that apparently Spurs are in talks with MSP Capital, but Ali Gold has shot those rumours down. He says those within Tottenham Hotspur have strongly shot down the suggestion that the club is in investment talks with MSP Sports Capital, which suggests that if any exploratory talks did occur, then they did not reach an outcome that was suitable for both parties.
Might suggest that, but I wouldn't take the club's word for it on these occasions. I think even if they were in talks, they wouldn't publicly announce it because these things can be very delicate. So they might shoot it down, but it doesn't mean it's not been happening.
Yeah, but obviously the report from Paul O'Keefe, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, regarding the talks did say that they were in talks with about 5 or 6 other counterparts as well. So I guess it's just something to keep their eye on.
Definitely, but the club are never going to confirm it until something's, happening.
Yeah. In terms of transfers, let's talk about Jobe Bellingham of Sunderland. Ed Aaron says that Tottenham are one of the clubs interested in signing Jobe Bellingham this summer. Sunderland want a fee in excess of £20 million for the midfielder. Quite expensive, isn't it?
If he wasn't called Bellingham, how much would he be worth? That's the question. As I've said before, I do like the idea of signing good quality young players. Obviously, he's 18 years of age. He's done well for Sunderland over the last year or so. But we've got people like Bergvall coming through next season. We've got a host of talented young players in our academy. So unless it's really necessary, I wouldn't want us to spend 20 million on him. But if we believe he could be even half as good as his brother, then it might be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, 45 games for Sunderland last season, 7 goals, 1 assist. Very, very versatile. Played 10 games up front in the number 9, played 24 games in the 10, 7 games in the 8, 1 in the 6, and even 1 on the left wing as well. So in terms of a player and the profile that we're looking for, surely he fits the bill.
Yeah, clearly he's very talented. Clearly he's already playing top-level football for a while now, and you can see physically he does look pretty ready. Is he a player who's ready to come in into the first team? Is he that much better than what we already have when it comes to someone like Bergvall coming in next year? I'm not convinced, but clearly he's I'm not saying he's not talented, and I'm not saying he's not worth bringing in. I'm just saying I don't want to sign over 20 million and block the pathway of potential of players who could potentially be just as good or better than him.
Let's talk about Desiree Doue again. The Bleacher Report says that Tottenham are lining up a move for brothers Desiree Doue and Guella Doue, who currently ply their trade for Stade Rennes. 18-year-old Rennes wonderkid Desiree Doue has had teammates hailing him as the best youngster they have ever seen, and we have brought you reports on him before. But it's interesting about his brother. His brother Guella is a right-back, been playing more or less every game for Rennes this season, 21 years of age, so he is a couple years older than Desiree. And the Bleacher Report claiming that we're looking for a double deal to bring the brothers in.
I wonder if it's one of those that Hazard type deal where, Hazard signed for Chelsea, but he wouldn't sign unless his brother came with him. So he's like, all right, go on, you can all take Fulgen as well. I wonder if that's that kind of situation. But obviously we know Desiree Doue is clearly a very, very talented winger, one who's got the excitement of a lot of top scouts around Europe, a lot of interested parties for big clubs around Europe who are looking at him. And obviously, been really setting Liga in a light last season. 4 goals, 4 assists for such a young player. And he's such an exciting dribbler as well, someone who gets you off your seat when you watch him play. So no surprise that Tottenham want him, and I think he's one we should really be looking at as someone who could potentially be a star very, very quickly.
Yeah, if you can kind of pull that off, it's going to be a real coup for the club. Real coup. He's being touted as one of the biggest, youngsters coming through in world football at the moment, and the exact kind of positions we need as well. Does he block the pathway for someone like Mikey Moore, though?
Well, Mikey Moore's still 16. He's still very young. This guy's performing at top level football. So if you've got that kind of ability, then I think it's different. You can't just risk a potential Mikey Moore and not sign anyone in that position. So I wouldn't say so, no. Mikey Moore's versatile anyway, he can play a few positions.
Next up, let's talk about Alejo Veliz. Uriel Lucht, which is an Argentinian journalist, says that Veliz is not going to return to Argentina in this transfer market. Tottenham want to loan him to a Premier League club, and clubs in Italy are following him closely as well. So interest building up in Alejo.
Very promising. Obviously, the Sevilla loan was a disaster last year, and I really hope we have to pick our loans a lot more carefully than we did last season. Obviously, a Premier League loan is the perfect move. Obviously, gets used to the Premier League. Even a higher end Championship loan, I'd consider as well. But Would I rather a lower end Premier League move or maybe a good move in Serie A? Probably Premier League, just to get that experience. But he needs to go somewhere he's going to play regularly.
Like a Brighton.
And get regular minutes. You know, got João Pedro there. Would he? I guess depends what the new manager wants. Whoever's going to be their new manager. But yeah, Brighton would be perfect. I'd love to go there and play week in week out. But whether he would go there and be their main striker, I'm not 100% sure at the moment.
Well, when you're looking at clubs in the Premier League, where would he go and be a main striker? Maybe one of the promoted clubs.
Yeah, something like that. Obviously, Bournemouth, if they sell Solanke, could they loan Veliz? That'd be great. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably look for a higher quality player than Veliz. But if anywhere in the Premier League where he's going to get a good amount of minutes would be perfect. But if he's guaranteed play time in Italy, it's also a good move.
Yeah, but it could be Leicester. You know, Jamie Vardy ain't getting any younger. Can he do it in the Premier League for a whole season? I think Leicester could be a good option as well. And I know Maresca's gone now, but they do play that kind of brand of football as well. We've got some quotes from Romero, really positive quotes from him, and he says Ange has a winning mentality and has totally changed the direction of the club when he arrived. He brought everyone together, and we all have the same mental attitude and approach. We all share the same ambition to be successful and win things at this club, and that is the key. We play an entertaining style, and we're all very happy with the way the manager sets us up and plays. Of course, we've had ups and downs this season. A lot has happened. Let's not forget, we have a young squad and players playing their first season in the Premier League. It's not easy playing in this league. You don't just settle in over 2 or 3 months. It's tough. It's been a decent first season, and with this top manager, some inconsistencies, but overall good. I know we can't quite keep the pace up, battling for the league title, but now we need to try and improve, keep growing in order to be travelling in the proper direction. We must finish well and come back stronger next season. The young players will benefit from this first season and experience, will perform better. Next season is going to be a big one for us. So there were kind of a few rumours, weren't there, when Romero, there's been rumours before saying Romero could be looking for a way out. But I think when you see his posts on social media, when you see these kind of quotes, it does seem like he's planning to be here for the long term. Yeah,
I believe he is. And I believe he is really happy here playing in London. Obviously, he's achieved so much while he's been at Tottenham, not necessarily with Tottenham, but obviously became a World Cup winner. Hasn't let him dull his ambitions. But I don't think we could. Obviously, he's been at Tottenham now for 3 years, 4th, 8th, and 5th. You know, I don't think we can have another 3 years like that without him starting to get a bit of itchy feet. And even next season, if next season we're not seriously making inroads, I think, in terms of looking like we could challenge the top very soon, or looking serious in the cup competitions and going far in them, you know, getting to semi-finals, finals, I think he might start to get a bit frustrated.
Yeah.
And I think he's a player who I don't think will want to go his whole career, you know, especially at club level, not winning anything. Obviously, it's especially after he got that World Cup win, it's going to make him hungry for more trophies. So, as much as I do think he is happy right now, we have to make sure that it doesn't go into 3 or 4 years 4 or 5 years at Tottenham without a trophy, because he'll look at people like Kane and Son and we think, well, they spent 10 years here and they didn't get a trophy, so, and I don't want to do that. So, definitely one to look out for the future. But he's very vice captain. He's got that extra responsibility. He's growing as a player. I think he's at the moment the project's going in the right direction. I think that the way we play suits a player like Romero as well. So right now, there's not really any reason for him to be unhappy.
But watch his space. You know, like you say, I think this is completely spot on. If we do stagnate over the next 2 or 3 years, maybe even 2 years, then I do think that he'll want to look to further his career, that's for sure. But last but not least, we've got a horrible story coming out of Paris saying that Tottenham midfielder Yves Bissouma had his watch stolen after muggers sprayed tear gas in his face outside a hotel in France. He and his wife were forced to cut their holiday short after the incident occurred, and he has returned to London. So obviously our thoughts are with Yves Bissouma at this horrible time, and let's hope he's just not too rocked by the situation.
Yeah.
But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.